You may never see this, but Just Pearly Things, you are a fraud. You've always been a fraud. You've been using and abusing the black community since your start on YouTube. And I'm going to go as far as to say you're a racist, period, point blank. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Omar, aka Omeezy, and today is the day that I have been dreaming of for so long. Today is Just Pearly Things' downfall. Round of applause. Round of applause, because I have been waiting to pack this woman up for so long. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that join button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend that Just Pearly Things is canceled. It's over with for her. She's done. Nobody cares about that boring looking woman anymore. So if you're unfamiliar with her game, Just Pearly Things is, I don't know if she's a whoopee cushion with a podcast or if she's just, you know, a scorned traditional woman presenting. She's a grifter. She's a grifter. She's a grifter on the internet who has, you know, taken over the manosphere space, especially since Kevin Samuels has passed away, and with the rise of others like Andrew Tate and Sneeko, she thought that she would be able to make a stamp in the game from a woman's perspective. And she did. I mean, Pearly Things did numbers with some of her more outrageous takes that she's put out on the internet, like telling women that they don't deserve to vote.
I don't think women should vote.
Huh?
I don't think women should vote.
Lord Jesus, keep on going.
Yeah,
no women, you can't vote. No birth control. Keep it going.
No, because it's always freedom without responsibility. And
I
so,
love
like,
it.
the
Women
reason
should not
No,
vote.
but
Pearly
but
said it herself.
I'll tell you why, though. I'll tell you why. Because it's freedom without responsibility. Like, I believe in consequences for your decision. So the men know if they vote someone batshit crazy into power, you guys get drafted. We don't.
Or saying that you're not a good wife if you gain weight for some reason.
Are you a good wife if you get married and then you gain 100 pounds? Is that good wife? I'm just asking, am I off base?
I mean, was there a reason for that? Like, did someone pass away?
It doesn't matter the reason.
I mean, you're not a bad wife for gaining 100 pounds for a reason.
So,
like,
okay, let me just say. So I lost my job and refused to work as a husband, but I did it for a reason. Am I a good husband? You know, I lost my job, but I was depressed.
Or maybe even saying dumb things like it's 99% women's fault that they get pregnant specifically when they're ovulating because the man only had one choice to make. I don't know.
We also are in control, not in control. We know when we're ovulating. We have the ability and the choice to track when you're ovulating and not have sex on those days. So at the end of the day, there's like 10 choices that you made irresponsibly that got you pregnant, where the man only made one choice, condom or no condom. That it is on you. And when you had 10 choices and he had one, I'm sorry, we have more responsibility.
And I mean, you get the gist from here. If you don't know, trust me, she's nothing new. She's just a woman in sheep's clothing. She entered the manosphere space as a new face, a woman face, to get that same tired rhetoric off. I mean, women aren't 10s, people are delusional, you're not the prize, men are better than women, X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. You know the stupid stuff that they always spin. This time it was from a woman's perspective though, so it gave it a little bit more credibility. Hey, here's a woman that agrees with our toxic masculinity-filled talking points. Why not listen to her? But so after getting that off for so long, building an empire, amassing an audience of people who like her content, eventually those talking points get tired. We've seen a dip in views and, you know, mainstream talk about from people like Fresh and Fit and Sneeko and Andrew Tate. So Just Pearly Things decided, I gotta kick it up a notch. And the only way to do that is by opening the world to my actual racist views. In comes Nick Fuentes, known neo-Nazi, known racist, known white supremacist, who comes on her show and hey, he lets it all hang out. The funniest thing about some of this stuff is that they never have a different talking point. I swear, Nick Fuentes has been going around the internet since like 2015, denying the Holocaust with the same exact talking points as he's always done. It's the most crazy thing in the world. But what I think Just Pearly Things does that makes this so interesting and what has people so up in arms is that not only, you know, is she laughing it off and not giving any pushback, which is wrong within itself, but she's also adding on to the conversation when talking about slavery.
And the culture, we sort of lost the culture.
Yeah, because the lesson of World War II, based on the horrors of the Holocaust, is like, this is what happens when nationalism goes awry. This is what happens when nationalism goes too far.
But your argument was the Holocaust was not special and all countries have done that.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so you're saying, why is the Holocaust special?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, But you kind of deny it happened.
Yeah, I denied some of the parts of it.
You deny parts of it don't seem realistic to you. You think they were embellished upon.
I think they're embellished, yeah.
The same way. This sounds, oh gosh. They're going to be in trouble. This sounds similar to the slavery stuff too, because that's literally the founder of, or the guy who made Roots said, I wanted a myth for my people to live by. So they often, but that's what they do.
Now the craziest part about it was Nick Fuentes wasn't even talking about slavery. There's times in this conversation where Just Pearly thinks herself takes the moment to initiate, the racist rhetoric by bringing up the denial of the severity of slavery, or, people being on CP time and adding on to that joke. I mean, it's laughable. It's laughable, to be honest with you. The biggest problem with Just Pearly things is, although she did have an Italian woman come on her show and give Nick Fuentes actual pushback somewhat to some degree, and even going as far as denouncing him.
The Italians, we do not claim you.
Oh, hey, the Italians don't claim you. You're the one dating a black guy. The Italians don't claim me. They don't claim you.
Oh, no, they claim me. They claim me.
I don't think so.
They do.
Italian guys, yeah.
Italians,
tell an Italian guy about your
lovers.
affinity for black guys. That'll go over real well. Maybe some brajol. There's some Italian
No,
for
but
you.
I will make my black boyfriend some of that.
Ugh, wow. You don't know any better.
The thing is, Just Pearly Things has a plethora of African American or black people that surround her. I mean, when I say surround, I literally mean surround. Look at this thumbnail. She literally surrounds herself with African Americans. Her work is based off the backs of black people. It's almost reminiscent of some 4 people that I just can't put my finger on it, but it's reminiscent of some people in American history. So the fact that you have access to these black people and you don't utilize them in your video or in your live stream to give Nick Fuentes any sort of pushback, it just shows what your true character is. Adam22 just got in trouble for similar / same things. Brought a neo-Nazi on, let him get his rhetoric off, have some jokes about this, claim the guy was reformed, but you let him sit there and kiki and laugh with him while you had access to people who could have given him serious pushback. It's very just tone deaf stuff. And again, outside of the tone deafness, I mean, just
I'm trying to get my Africans in America, so we're not gonna support that. Look at, please make it easy for me to immigrate next year.
They are more industrious than American blacks.
Get blessing in.
He can stay.
Bring my Africans to America, make that process easier. Little do people know about Just Pearly Things, her whole staff, from the editors to the thumbnail makers to the on-scene producers, are African or African American or some sort of black. They are some sort of black person. Hell, even her editors for her clips and her thumbnail makers are people that she got off of Fiverr, who she pays like $5, that are in Africa. She uses like African labor in order to push her content out on a day-to-day basis. And it's even disgusting that she had them cut up this type of content to put up on the internet. Now, some people might want to give the benefit of the doubt. Omar, she's not always been using black people. Not this thumbnail, not that thumbnail, not any of the videos where she's surrounded by black people to get her talent off. Well, if you look back at her past comments when she was doing commentary, when she was going through this phase of the whitest girl commentating on black culture and black relationships and things like that, I mean, it's disgusting. This is where she started. And the fact that she can use the culture to push her narrative and her agenda and make the money, and then when the culture no longer suits her, she flips to stuff like this, is insane. Listen, I've always thought Just Pearly Things was a bird box. I thought the methods that she put in order to get her content out there, she was really pushing out a lot of content, kind of commendable. But when you found out that all of it was used off of outsourced labor, when all of her labor was outsourced, when I found that out from African countries, that made me think twice about, is this ethical? And then when I sat there and thought about who was surrounding her, who was giving the content, and what type of stuff she was talking about, I really had to think to myself, yo, this woman is absolutely sick. I mean, again, you are a single white woman living in the UK using black stats, stereotypes, and statistics from over here, and you are pushing that rhetoric on your platform and having black people go back and forth about it. Now, I don't have much to say about the Uncle Toms and Sam Jacksons. What's his name from the Django? You know, that Sam Jackson character. I don't have too much commentary about those people that you surround yourself with. They obviously can't see past the dollar signs to understand that this is nasty, or they just don't even care. Oh, and right on cue, we knew that they were gonna forgive and forget easily. Now look, I'm at work. Please don't mind this, but this is future editing Omar here. So we knew that they were gonna cape and simp and forgive and forget and they were going to tell you that that's what they weren't going to do.
I'm not, you know, caping. I'm not simping. Yeah, I'm not trying to, you know, cover up people's mistakes or try to make out something it's not. No, I think that she did mess up by bringing Nick Fuentes, but at the end of the day, everybody F's up sometimes.
But we knew with a lightweight apology and, you know, some, hey guys, I didn't mean to do this, I really screwed up. We knew that that would get the people that they surround themselves with, aka just Pearly Things in her crew of monkeys. Just throw a couple of bananas and peanuts and they'll be fine. And what I do find the most interesting is that this guy goes on to challenge, you know, MTR and what he's done or other black creators on the platform and what they've done in regards to helping black people, you know, because just Pearly Things, Macedon helped so many people. What have they done to help so many people?
A lot of these black male YouTubers who have such a problem with Pearl, what do they do for black people really? Because as far as I've seen, for me personally, right, I've seen Pearl help a lot of black people, yeah, put money in a lot of black people's pockets, giving a lot of opportunities to a lot of black people, whereas these black guys that are, or these black people that are making all these videos trying to label her, they don't do nothing for nobody.
Who are you to challenge what a black man has done for the black community? That's the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. And I know you have a warped perspective because you live across the pond, mate, but please check your tone. I knew they were going to do this. I had to get this off while I was editing, but let's just get back to the video. But Pearl, come on now, we've got to be serious. I know you're dumb. You told Destiny that.
I'm not gonna say I'm an expert in studies. I just feel like studies will tell you water isn't wet.
I don't know why you keep saying that. It's like something that somebody's never read a study before says. Like, well, a study will tell you anything. No, it won't. Studies by reputable sources published in reputable journals that have repeatable results don't just say anything. That's not true. If that was true, how would we make any progress scientifically at all in anything ever? Do you think that medicine has gotten better largely as like time has gone on? Do you think that like cars have gotten better largely as time has gone on? Okay, if all of society is improving and all of it's on the back of research and studies, then it's probably the case that studies don't just say anything.
Okay, sure. I'm not that smart.
But I don't think you're that dumb to where you don't understand how this looks. I mean, this looks awful. And even with this weak ass apology, we knew this was coming as well.
I did remove the interview. I again did not think through a lot of the repercussions of posting that, so I just removed it. If you do want to see the full interview, Obsidian did react to it. That's on his channel. The intention was not, I guess, to hide it. It was just, you know, this might not have been the best move. I'm just going to remove it now. So again, racism has no place in society, and I do take accountability for bringing him on. Hindsight's always 20/20.
All these creators do every single time is come out with a weak ass apology as to why they shouldn't have done this, why they weren't aware in the moment. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't have been aware as you sat there and laughed with Nick Fuentes. It's absolutely insane. Look, I ultimately think that there can be a place and a space for these neo-Nazis, racists, whatevers to be on platforms and discuss their views. Now, do I think it takes somebody smarter than a Pearl Pearletherson? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think that this bird brain woman who got her start off the back of black people, who continues to push our content off the back of black people, who is ultimately a grifter, not here for the change and the advancement, but ultimately here just to humiliate and push content. Because mind you, the strangest thing about some of these people, and it's something that you should always probably ask yourself, do they actively live this life? Every time they have somebody on their platform or every time they bring up a new talking point, you have to ask, do they live their life? So people have asked Pearl, are you or why aren't you dating? And here's her whack ass answer.
I would say if there's one thing that's held me back in dating, it is the height. I would think
so.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Now is that because you want a guy taller?
It's me. Oh. It's me. It's my fault. Okay. Yeah. No, I'd actually say I'd go down to like 5'10". I'd say like an inch or two shorter.
You can't. Then you wear the heels though. You're taller.
No, that's fine. I don't mind if I'm wearing heels, but I'm just like being honest, you know. And maybe that's too picky. I don't know, but I would say that's probably like if I had to pick one thing, the height that makes it a lot harder.
Ask her things like, Pearl, what is your type? And here's her whack ass answer.
What are my standards?
Yeah, that no man has managed to meet yet. Let's hear it.
See if we can find you someone.
Yeah, your future husband could be listening to this show right now. So tell him what you're looking for.
I like guys that are family-oriented, conservative. I like, you know, I have a height thing. He doesn't have to be taller than me. He could be a little shorter, but it can't be like crazy.
Okay.
Family-oriented.
So just 5'10",
5'11",
5'10",
conservative,
5'9", 5'10" is fine.
5'9", 5'10". Okay, conservative, family oriented.
Yeah.
You haven't found that guy yet?
And don't get me started as to what happened in her past relationship when she was dating a black content creator who, hey, once again, pushed her up into the limelight. Then she has the likes of like Melanie King on here, who is a divorced woman in her 40s, doesn't have custody of her kids, and has a face full of plastic surgery, calling other women devil children and not worthy and all this other stuff like that. But we don't even know who you are with this costume that you have on your face. It's insane to me. It's insane to me. Look, I went off on a tangent. Ultimately, I think you can have these conversations with these people of opposing viewpoints. You can have somebody who may be a transphobe. I don't even want to say a transphobe, but somebody who is anti-trans versus somebody who's pro-trans. I think the thing is we have to start respecting people who are educated on these topics. Not people who read things off of Twitter, not people who read things in their Facebook group chats or their family group chats and then come on YouTube with opinions. Challenge everybody. Be critical of everyone. Find out why they believe what they believe and don't just take some bullshit ass answer for why they believe what they believe. That's what they give. Bullshit answers. Well, I just believe what I believe. But yeah, I do believe there is a place and a space for maybe not a Nick Fuentes, because at this point he's just an entertainer, but somebody who may believe that we need to build a wall up. But there's also needs to be a person who can counter that and have an actual conversation. Let's hear some opposing views from educated people who have maybe actual statistics that have been peer reviewed and fact checked and have some substance behind it, or somebody who is in these actual places and spaces, somebody who is doing border control, somebody who is doing advocating for, you know, the different restrictions that happen in immigration. Let's have some educated people on these platforms. I'm tired of the anti-education movement because all we do is get grifters who come on these platforms, charge their audience up emotionally, and then get them to spew this nasty and hateful rhetoric in real life. It's done. So if you ever had to question, is this person here for my benefit? Is this person in my culture for my benefit? Is this person, you know, advocating for me personally? Ask yourself, do they actively live the lives that these people are trying to portray or question about? Ask them if they're married. Ask them if they're, you know, losing weight or if they're a high value man. Ask them if they belong in these categories. Most of the time, if they're a complete opposite, I would say not. Why Pearl, a white woman, was commenting on black relationships, I'll never know. But usually, these white women in sheep's clothing are nasty predators like everyone else. Please, let's pack Pearl up, never forgive her. I could be wrong though. I'm not. Appreciate y'all.